Good morning. Welcome in to Blue Sky Live here with you on this Tuesday. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Ole Miss still a day away from the most monumental college basketball task there is, which is going to Neville Arena, trying to break a two-game losing streak. Oklahoma at home on Saturday. The NFL Combine a few days away as well. Jackson Dart's name on the screen right now as we are talking. So we'll look at some NFL stuff today, look at some Combine stuff, as well as basketball. Ole Miss baseball faces Southern Miss, 4 o'clock in Oxford for that one. Will McCausland on the mound, the St. Joseph's transfer for the Rebels. So it's kind of a setup for today's show, a show brought to you every day by Blue Sky locations throughout the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55 throughout North Mississippi as well. You know about Sweet Daddy's locations, ribs, pulled pork, side items, desserts. They will take care of you. They'll wrap them up, wrap the ribs up, have them ready to go, wet or dry, whatever you need there with Sweet Daddy's. And again, we are located in the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guests join on the Campbell Clinic hotline, from fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions. The pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Thanks for super chat off the top, Grunt. Appreciate you as always. I'll get to that in a second. I saw a second ago, right before we started the show, that the last 8 NCAA men's basketball champions are not ranked in the current top 25. So you got a little parity going on right now. Now, that's only 6 teams because UConn has repeated the last 2 seasons. Obviously, they're 24 and 2024, 2023 champions. And then Villanova also won twice over that stretch. But Duke in 2015, the last former champion to currently be ranked. Teams not ranked right now: Villanova, North Carolina, Virginia, Baylor, Kansas, and UConn, as Kansas has fallen out of the poll. And now a lot of this is because SEC teams occupy damn near half of it, and the league has not won a title since 2012 with Kentucky. So that is a large reason why that is the case. Grind, shoot me those win totals for football. I haven't seen those. He says FanDuel has put out win totals. I have not seen the win totals, so we'll look at that today if you get it to me. Your super chat says trivia reward from hand raised guys. His beard. We'll take them one at a time. Has Beard started implementing his tourney strategy yet? I don't know necessarily what he means, but what do you think that would entail?
I have zero idea.
Okay. Fill us in. We'll try to answer that. Says, does he believe in shortening the roster, in your opinion?
No. I think he wants to play the people he trusts. I think he'd like a deeper roster. But I don't think he has I think he knows he doesn't have a very deep roster. He's searching for combinations right now. It's the reason that they played Klafke 22 minutes. I mean, you're playing someone who clearly doesn't believe in himself offensively right now, but you're playing him because he gives you some things that you can't get from other people. And then the morale part of this is I just simply don't know the extent of his injury or his ability to what he feels like on different days. I'd love to know that. That would tell us a lot, but no.
It says like playing less guys and leaning on the starters more was his.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still just searching for who he can trust. I mean, if you watch them, they play 7 guys usually in the first 3-4 minutes of the game. I think he's trying to hunt a little bit for who's going to bring energy and things of that nature, and then how. I think some of it depends on how Matt feels.
Yeah, and it's twofold with Matt, is how he's feeling any given day. Can he go? What can he give you? What actually is producible out of his ability at that moment? And then 2, everybody says, hey, just sit him, but it's probably not something that gets a ton better over time, to the best of my knowledge. I'm being careful here because, I mean, it hadn't been on the record was wrong. But if I'm right on what I keep hearing, it's surgical. It's time. It's things. It's not something where you take a week off and suddenly you feel great the next day. So you're just reaching, and it ends up being a pretty crappy final year from an individual standpoint because you're banged up. He compared it to Cal and Nate Oates shortening the bench minutes. They have deeper rosters that they believe in, or at least Cal has in the past. I don't know what he has at Arkansas this year from a depth standpoint, but in the past, that's probably not something that Ole Miss could lean on at the moment from a roster depth standpoint. Yeah, they're. I mean, they don't have a lot of guys who have been consistent night in and night out. I mean, it was there for a while. It was sort of the positive, if you will, that somebody stepped up and they won games and they found ways, but not many stat lines across the season has been very consistent by a specific player where you just know, even if it's not giving you superstar minutes, just giving you anything. I mean, you don't really know what you're getting from one night to the next.
I mean, I said this all year. They don't have Batman.
But I mean, even consistency, where you just get the 8 and 6 from a guy, and you know that's coming.
Yeah,
you might get 14 and 12, and you might get 4 and 2.
I mean, I have some thoughts on it. It for the most part, it's probably too realistic and pragmatic. Wouldn't make a great podcast. It would piss a lot of people off. I mean, they and I also think there's a not here. There's just in general. I hear outside. There's almost a moving of the goalpost because they started strong, and some of the strong start was scheduling. Nobody likes that, but it's true. They played Arkansas there. Arkansas is not particularly good. They certainly weren't good early. They played LSU at home early. LSU's not good. They got a big win over Bama. There's no question about that. They played Georgia at home early. Georgia's not particularly good. They certainly weren't very good early. And so at some point you've got to get it, and they blew the game to A&M, but they were very fortunate to beat LSU and Carolina on the road. It's not an elite roster. It's not the most talented team in the league. In fact, I think if you were just to break down talent, pure basketball talent, they're probably second half.
Oh, I mean, it's what the message board is discussing to some extent. It's what you and I talked about for a minute yesterday off show, because you need way more detail than we have to currently talk about it. But it's a roster that was put together with somewhere around $5.5 million in NIL, something like that. Now, where that sits inside the SEC, it's not at the top. It's not at the bottom. Bottom is LSU, who spent around $2 per multiple LSU sources when they've been doing the Matt McMahon stuff. And there were some misses. There was some probably overpaying a little bit for seniority. And I mean, I do think whenever this is done, now look, again, this is not moving goalposts, because if you make the NCAA tournament, you had a successful season no matter what the roster looked like or anything else.
Yes.
We can say that's all true, put it off to the side, and then still contend, was that a successful use from an efficiency standpoint, putting a roster together with that amount of money? And I have no idea. I don't have the knowledge to answer that question. But that is a separate question. Then, are you moving the goalpost, or are you having a successful season? Because if you make the NCAA tournament in the second year, you had a successful season no matter what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole conversation to be had about how much money you had for salary, how you allocated it. Did you allocate it correctly? To do that, you have to have a lot of information that in college athletics today is closely guarded. Nobody has that information. It's really hard to have that conversation without being inaccurate or sounding like you have an agenda. It's not like pro sports where you can look at the Pirates roster and go, well, this is what they had to work with compared to the rest of the division, and this is what maybe they did well or they did poorly. Can't do that in college sports, and that's by design. They don't want you to know how much money is in it compared to the others. Like Ole Miss plays Auburn Wednesday. We think we kind of roughly know what Ole Miss's salary package is for basketball. I don't know what Auburn's is. If you told me it was double what Ole Miss's was, sure. If you told me it was exact, I have no idea. It's not information that's readily available. As opposed to when the Tigers play the Yankees, you can go to 2 or 3 different websites and get specifically almost down to the dollar what their payrolls are.
Well, and I think it's also, I mean, what's intriguing to me about it is if you're not in the top quartile of your conference, speaking for SEC teams, relative to other SEC teams, even how you should put it together. Because, we talk about Batman and stuff, you look at two, and again, are they what they're going to be in 5 years in the NBA? No, of course not. But that's kind of the point. Two of the teams right now that are really, really scuffling have potential NBA lottery picks. Neal at Georgia and the kid at South Carolina, whose name is escaping me, Neal. What is his name? Colin.
Who?
South Carolina's
Murray
lottery pick.
Boyles.
Murray Boyles. Incredibly expensive, both those guys. Teams that are in dead last in the SEC and probably falling off the bubble. There's even my opinion, I could be wrong. I think it's at least a conversation that if you are a bottom half of the SEC NIL team, you're better off not having one of those lottery picks because it creates roster imbalance. And you can't fill in around them. They're not exactly ready to just take over every single game yet because they're projects.
Yeah.
And in some ways, you're actually worse off than just finding older, really good basketball players.
That's what Rick Pitino said the other day.
Yeah.
Did
he? I didn't see that.
Said he's not going to add any high school players this turn. He's just going to add portal guys.
Yeah, look, he's the best player. There's no doubt about that, but it's very possible Ace and Newell's bad for Georgia's overall roster, given what he's doing right now and how you build around it.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah, for sure. I think the NBA rule requiring 1 year is stupid. I've said I'm on record with all of that. I think all of it's stupid. In this world, I've said it 1,000 times. I don't think there should be. I think you should be able to go pro right out of high school. And if it doesn't work out, it's on you. It's how I feel. I don't like the 1 year rule. I don't like the college rule in baseball with the 3-year thing. I can't stand it. I don't know how it holds up in court. I don't like it in the NFL with college football. I think if you want to go pro out of high school and a team will draft you, go. After 1 year, 2 years, go. I've always said that. But college basketball today, you're probably going to get more out of 21-year-olds than you are out of 18-year-olds. Unless they're just off the charts talented. Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, sure.
Guys that are first 1-1 picks. But Georgia had a 1-1. Anthony Edwards is a super player today. My God, Anthony Edwards is a great player. Just a great basketball player. He wasn't equipped at 18 to carry Georgia to the tournament.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're worse off. There's very few. Cooper Flagg, if Duke was bad all around him, wouldn't be doing the same thing right now. As good as he is.
No, Duke's talented. Duke's got a lot of talent. He's not the only young star on that team. They've got multiple guys that are future NBA players.
Well, Nardi has his update this morning. Bracketology has come out. He has 13 SEC teams in the field as of this morning. Arkansas is in a play-in game against Wake Forest as an 11 seed.
Yeah, he had that on the other day too.
Okay. Oklahoma is an 11 seed playing in a play-in game against Nebraska at this point. In the South region, we'll start there because, again, 13 teams. Auburn is the number 1. You've got Kentucky is the number 3. Providence, Rhode Island. You have a first-round match, a 7-10 game of 7-seed Memphis against 10-seed Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt's a 10 right now. In Milwaukee against the Memphis Tigers. In the West region, the Florida Gators are the number 1 seed. So geography not mattering at all. In the West region, played in Lexington in the first round. Florida is the 1 seed right there. They've got BYU as the 8. Speaking of an Ole Miss opponent. Clemson is, 5. Purdue's a 4. I don't know why I mentioned Clemson. The Arkansas-Wake Forest winner faces number 6 UCLA. Texas A&M, the 3 in this region. And Ole Miss is in this region as well. They have Ole Miss in a 7-seed slot right now.
So he's dropped them from 6 to 7.
He has. Ole Miss 7 seed against 10-seed VCU in the first round, with Iowa State or Norfolk State waiting in the round of 32 at that point. Go to the Midwest. Alabama is the 1 seed. So 3 of the 4 1 seeds are SEC teams. You have Illinois at the 8. Ole Miss played them in an exhibition early in the year. You got the Oklahoma-Nebraska winner playing Marquette in a 6-11 game. And then he has Mississippi State in a 7-10 game as well. So Ole Miss and Mississippi State currently 7 seeds in Lenardi's bracket. Houston would be awaiting Mississippi State if they got through round 1. By the way, Houston picked up a big win against Texas Tech last night
did they?
in a good game.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Duke, the remaining 1 seed, we knew that. UConn overseeded like hell. They were a 9 seed in Lenardi's bracket, coming off their back-to-back national titles. He has Missouri as a 5 in a 5-12 game with Will Wade and McNeese State for the Missouri Tigers. Michigan, the 4 there. He has Texas in an 11 seed. They are in, not even in a play-in, just one of the 11s without the play-in. Texas at 11, and then Tennessee, the 2 seed in the East. Tennessee, a 2 seed. They would face Louisville in the second round if Louisville got past West Virginia in a 7-10 game in this bracket. So 13 teams, 3 11s, and a 10, and everybody else higher than that line. So 10 of the 13, a single-digit seed, I believe, if I did that math right.
I mean, I think it's what I expect. I don't watch nearly as much college basketball as a lot of people in our stream, probably even you. But just looking at nets and the way that they normally seed tournaments, I expect the league's going to get 13 bids.
There's no sign that they're not. When we don't know, we don't know. But there's no flashing sign out there that says, hey, there's this weird. No. The sentiment's gone the other way. Best I can tell.
I mean, again, they played pretty much 1 through 16, a very competitive non-league preseason, and dominated it. Pretty much everybody. I remember saying that in November and December, that these are good signs for the league, that the rest of the league wins these games. Not just the top teams, not just Auburn and Alabama and Florida and Tennessee getting wins, but Texas and Vanderbilt and Arkansas and Mississippi State and Ole Miss got wins. And all those wins sort of cascade upon one another. And so if they don't take a bunch of SEC teams, they're probably going to send a message that I don't think they want to send. Because most of the people in that room are big college basketball people who want college basketball to be a big thing. They want the TV networks to focus on the tournaments in Hawaii and elsewhere and to talk about it. And if you make those tournaments meaningless, I don't know that you're going to get fan interest in them. If you make those tournaments meaningful, you at least give yourself a chance to have your sport be relevant in November and December when the whole world is hyper-focused on football. If you send a message that those games don't matter, well, then if I'm a fan, then why am I paying any attention to them in November and December if all that matters is the conference schedule? So Vitale was, I think, stupidly wrong the other day, but he might end up being right. We'll see. It's not going to be on Selection Sunday in a few weeks. It's not going to be popular nationally for 13 SEC teams to be in the tournament. It's not going to be popular for, I don't know, pick a team, Georgia, Texas, Arkansas, make them 6-12.
Yeah.
It's not going to be popular for an SEC team that won 1/3 of its conference tournament, of its conference games, to make the field. The national media is going to go ballistic. And they don't typically like that. So I think they're kind of in a hard spot. They want the national media to love them because the national media shows up for the tournament and writes about how this is the greatest spectacle in all of sports and all of that stuff. And if they go into it with this super negative,
and maybe we end up seeing that, but we're not. I guess my point is, I wonder if they know something too. We're not seeing that yet out of Wolken and 40 and those guys at all. Yet. They've just kind of played along with the SEC's a super dominant league, and it is what it is. Because Vitale, again, yesterday, I mean, seems like a nice dude, but he's a bit of a character of himself, and he's kind of the Tim Brando of college basketball at this point, where I just love all the little guys. He sort of flipped from just the complete like Duke shill to, hey, everybody deserves a spot at the table. And I don't know that he's carrying any national consciousness anymore as far as how those sort of things play out. He might have been the person I listen to the least when they say something and I go, oh, trial balloon? Interesting. Nah, I just think it was a man who had an opinion because he wants everybody to have a spot at the table.
Yeah, I think
that's
so
my
too.
opinion.
I don't think Dick Vitale is spending a lot of time. I'm not criticizing that he's an older man and he's fighting a lot of health conditions. But I don't think he's in touch with what's going on the committee. Now, if you told me 40 and Wolken are, I buy it.
Yeah, I'm curious what they ride as we get closer. We still got 2 or 3 weeks. We haven't gotten to conference week, conference championship week yet.
No, we're 2 weeks away from the tournament. I mean, the tournament is, what's today, Tuesday? I'll probably be headed to Nashville 2 weeks from today.
Mm-hmm.
That will be an interesting day. There'll be a lot of people there that will have those conversations about how many bids. And if you start seeing a narrative of 13's ridiculous, this is insane. And some of it's a little early, right? Because
got games to be played. You can play your way in or out right
Georgia
now.
has how many SEC wins right now? 4?
Yeah, I think it's 4.
Oklahoma's got 4. Arkansas's got 5. Vanderbilt's got
5
6.
or 6. Hold on.
What are those final numbers?
Georgia's 4 and 10.
Georgia's 4 and 10. So they've probably got to get to 7 and 11.
Vanderbilt's 6 and 8.
So Vanderbilt just needs to win 1 or 2 more.
Arkansas's 5 and 9.
So, if Arkansas gets to 8 wins, we're not going to be debating whether Arkansas belongs in the tournament.
And Oklahoma's 4 and 10.
Yeah. So those are kind of the 4 teams that we're sort of watching, right? I mean, those are the 4 that are.
Those are the 4 that are in the conversation that don't have at least a 96% chance of making the NCAA.
So let's take them one at a time in terms of the debate that will be had on them. If you're Georgia, I think you've got to get to 7.
They're the most danger to me as far as not getting in. I just don't look because they don't have the same level of resume.
I mean, Georgia's got to get to 6 before we even start having the debate.
Yeah, come on.
Oklahoma's at 4.
They are.
So if Oklahoma got to 6, I guess you have the debate.
Because we did it yesterday. Oklahoma's got a great non-con.
So it's 7.
A lot of wins.
At 7, I think they're in. Arkansas's at 5. If they get to 7, you can probably have the debate. If they get to 8, they're absolutely in.
Georgia's non-league. It's not as good as other teams. Their non-league teams they beat, their current rankings, 295, 282, 242, 111, 356. They lost to Marquette, who's 28. They have a win over St. John's, who's 13. They have a win over Notre Dame at 93, a win over Grand Canyon at 99, and then 351, 289, 202. It's just okay. But Georgia doesn't have the juice that, to me, Oklahoma does, where you go, oh, okay, that counts too.
Yeah.
Georgia, to me, I think they're the one that's not making the tournament.
So they probably have to go. They have to win 3 of their next 4, and then you have
at least.
And then you have the conversation about what needs to happen. Does Nashville matter? I don't know. I don't know whether the games on Wednesday in Nashville matter. The games on Thursday, do they matter? The games Friday absolutely don't matter. It becomes an exhibition. But do the games on Wednesday and Thursday in Nashville matter? I don't know. I'm not in the room with the committee.
Yeah, Arkansas is at 5, and they easily can win 3 of their final games. They have a home game against Texas that we'll get to tomorrow. They play tomorrow night. They have South Carolina away, and they have Vanderbilt away. It's a big game. They have State at home.
Yeah.
They probably need a 3-1 finish. 2-2 makes it complicated. I don't know.
They have I don't know what they have, 5, 6 quad 1 wins.
Yeah, they're non-league.
They beat Michigan.
They did. They have a win over 85. 22. That's their only top 100 non-con league wins. 85 and 22. Michigan's 22. They lost to 25 Illinois, 30 Baylor.
Yeah.
Not getting hurt there. Both on neutral courts.
No, their worst loss is Oklahoma at home at LSU.
And they actually get a little pull out of Lipscomb right now because they're 85.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but they are. So, all right, we'll look at the games and we'll shoot football probably after that. First, tell you about NE Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, they offer both residential and business packages with speeds of 2 gigabits. That's up from 1 gigabit previously. To learn more, register for service. Visit nespark.com. NeSpark, get connected. Stay local.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call our friends at Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, South Haven, Memphis, those areas, call Southern, 662-429-4429. We're brought to you by Window Hero. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, everything in between. Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise to make your property look and feel brand new. If you're in North Mississippi, let Window Hero make your home or business's exterior look amazing. You can call them at 662-510-7077 or windowhero.com. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management, specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting, see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, and much more. Whatever you're looking for in jewelry, they've got it. It's great for gifts, birthdays, got graduations coming up, anniversary gifts, and more at Arnett's. They want to be your jeweler. When you work with Argent Welt's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employment's retirement readiness. It's myargentwealth.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about planning a trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories, get in touch with John. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He'll give you options that you probably won't find on your own. 901-494-3387 or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer MedSync. For your prescriptions the same time each month and take care of you. One phone call, one delivery. Everything you need when you need it with G&M. Also easy to transfer those medications. Again, they take care of everything else after one call. So whether that be Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford, 662-236-2222. From a multiple bid league standpoint, SEC 13, Big 10 still at 10. That has been the same for a good bit now. Big 12 at 8. Good showing for them. 4 out of the Big East, 4 out of the ACC, 3 out of the Mountain West, and 2 out of the West Coast Conference. Those are your multi-bid leagues. Again, only 4 out of the ACC. And see, I guess it's Wake Forest that is getting in. Yeah. They're the last team in. So the ACC's at 4 with the last team in included.
Yeah.
Right on the cusp of 3.
Yeah.
Now SMU lingering in this conversation too. But yes.
I mean, some of it's going to come down to what happens in some of the small bid leagues. Are there upsets? Does that what does the committee do? They typically are pretty hostage to the net and to strength of schedule and those types of things. And when you start diving into the Big 12 teams and the ACC teams and some of those Mountain West teams, their resumes they're not as good as Georgia's, as Vanderbilt's, as Arkansas's, as Texas's. They're just not. They don't have those wins. And they have, unlike those teams, they have egregious losses. It's the other part of like the Georgia, Ole Miss, not Georgia, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Texas, Arkansas. None of those teams have like losses that you go, oh my God, how did that happen? Even Texas losing at South Carolina the other day. South Carolina's in the 80s in the net.
Yeah. It's a quad 2 loss. No big deal.
It's not egregious.
If it was 10 years ago and RPI was still at play, Ole Miss would have the 20th RPI in the country right now. The top 5 in the RPI would be Auburn 1, Alabama 2, Tennessee 3, Florida 4, Duke 5, Memphis at 7, Purdue at 9, A&M at 10, Kentucky at 12, State 17, Ole Miss 20.
There you go. Again, I'm broken record right now.
Net is better for for major conference teams. That's what we have discovered.
You told teams to play schedules, and they did. So now you have to either reward them for doing what you asked them to do, or you have to go back and change the goalpost, at which point you're going to affect future schedules. If you tell your kid, if you make the bed all week and you keep your room clean, we'll take you to Pizza Hut, and he does it, and then you don't take him to Pizza Hut, next week he's not going to make his bed.
Yeah.
It's where we are. You told everybody to schedule, they scheduled. And then they won. You probably weren't counting on them dominating the way that they dominated, but they did.
Pizza Hut's long been a motivator. I mean, back in the day, if you did the little book it reading program, you got the personal pan pizza for filling the reading obligation from the Pizza Hut. All you got to do was read where the red fern grows, and you get your cheese or your sausage and your pepperoni, little 4-piece personal pan pizza. Yeah. I miss the old Pizza Hut restaurants with salad bars, and you go in, all the garnish everywhere.
Is Grind posting those are win totals for next year?
Those are win totals for next year. That is true. Get to those in a minute. Tonight,
I said Pizza Hut. It could be anything. I just was making it up on the fly.
No, Pizza Hut works. Pizza Hut works. No.
We don't do a lot of frankly here. If we ever do pizza, for the most part, it's a treat. We'll go to Ferdinand's.
Yeah.
I don't know where people go for pizza. I try not to eat a lot of pizza. I love pizza. It's a weakness of mine. If you put it in the house, I will eat it multiple meals consecutively.
Yeah, Pizza Hut does not have a stranglehold on the public the way they did 15, 20, 25 years ago. I mean, growing up, I'm in a small town, but that was a deal. Yeah, like nothing wrong with salad bar. You get the lunch buffet for like $4.99 or $5.99 back in the day.
These are things
whatever it was.
I've not gone to a pizza buffet since.
Well, I don't know if that still exists. Actually, I don't think it does, because the one in Oxford now is over on West Jackson, and they don't have. I'm not even sure they have sit-in dining. You might just do carry-out out of it. If they do sit-in dining, I'm not aware of it.
I don't know. We had pizza the other day, but we did the cauliflower crust pizza. Made it at home.
I do that a lot too, and I actually think it's a bit of a marketing scam. I don't think it's his health. I don't think it's really any more healthy.
I told Laura that.
Yeah, it's not like we're.
I said this is a.
It's not like we're simply taking cauliflower and grinding it and milling it and turning it into a crust.
That's what I told her. I said this is a scam, and we're kidding ourselves.
There's a couple of them where that's actually more caloric than the regular crust.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's some of the brands or flavors where that's more caloric. Yeah, the Pizza Hut on University had a $5.99 lunch buffet. I remember that, but I don't think at its current location it does. Actually, I know that it doesn't.
That's actually something I'm going to research one day when I have some time. I'm going to research this cauliflower crust pizza scam. Because I have a feeling it is.
I mean, we'll see what
we trick ourselves into it. You know, it's Friday night. It's just us. We don't order it, Ginger. We buy it at the store and make it ourselves. We buy the crust at the store and then put the pizza together and put it in the oven. I have cooked pizza on the Big Green Egg, but that is a lot of work. It's a bunch of work.
A dietitian on the internet says, though cauliflower crust isn't inherently healthier than traditional crust, it's a little higher in protein and fiber.
Oh, okay.
But it's also higher in fat and cholesterol. Although cholesterol is a bit of a scam, because cholesterol that's in your food is not actually cholesterol in your body. That's a 1980s thing that we believe that's not true.
You saying the government lied? Are you willing to say on the record that the federal government lied to us?
We have gone through decades and decades and decades of science not being as good, and also, yes, lobbying. I mean, look, way back, this is whatever, but it's true. It's kind of a weird obsession of mine is go back and research and all this kind of stuff. Like, we did the fat-free diets forever. Then we did the the whatever diet. Like, come to find out that, anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
It's but yes, a lot of the protocols and the way that those have been set up are not accurate. So
We just get to Friday, and I don't feel like cooking. She doesn't feel like cooking, and we don't really ever go out because it's crowded. And you wait. I don't want to wait 2 hours to get a meal somewhere, and then it's not good for you. So that ends up being this thing that we convince ourselves is healthy, and I know it's not. We get the turkey.
Well, and there is something different between, okay, it might be marginally healthier, and healthy. Those are also two different things.
We use turkey pepperoni, which does have less fat than
Sure.
regular pepperoni.
Yeah, sure.
And we get the healthier pizza sauce that's not loaded with sugar. And then I'll put like banana peppers on it and stuff. So, I mean, it's probably healthier than calling Domino's.
Okay.
But I don't know that it's that much healthier.
Okay.
I don't have the greatest relationship with food in the world. I mean, I'd sort of have a love-hate.
It was, Corey. The dang in Pizza Hut, the personal pan in elementary school was a treat. Like you'd read whatever if you knew the other side of it was that personal pan pizza.
Amory still has the buffet. There you go.
I need to head home. You do a little nostalgia. See?
So you don't worry when you're going through a buffet that people are coughing and sneezing and everything else on your food. Even as a young kid, I remember thinking that.
I mean, yes.
And like, who's touching what? And
there's a
where
sneeze
were
guard
their
up there,
hands?
you know?
Yeah, but come on, I watch people. People are nasty.
The least. I mean, look, the scariest thing when it comes to that is the mixed nuts bowl at a bar.
Because people are putting their hands in it.
And like, I see these people. It is not me ever, but I see these people, especially probably when alcohol is involved. Fewer than like 70% of men wash their hands after they go to the bathroom, and they come back out.
That's
and
gross.
It's true.
That is so gross.
It's true. You've seen it.
Oh,
you
I
see
have.
people walk out, and yet they're going to go grab the freaking mixed nuts out of the bowl immediately. And I kind of go,
dude, come on. That's nasty.
Least sterile thing on earth. The mixed nuts bowl at the bar, sitting on the counter. I appreciate the places that have the big cylinder where you can just turn and you get your own Chex Mix or nuts out of it. Because I go, that's not being touched by the folks.
See, I'm going to be by myself on Friday night. I'm going to sit outside. I'm going to light a fire, turn on the Hawks and the Thunder, and I'll be perfectly happy. I don't need all that interaction. That's way too much.
A varying number of studies have found that fewer men than women wash their hands after using the bathroom, ranging from 31% to 69%. Told you.
How much of that is the people that just walk in? And again, I'm not excusing it. Because but like sometimes you see guys just go to a urinal and then leave.
Well, I mean, no, that's a large percentage. Yeah. But
you're still,
can we just 10 seconds, just anything to make me feel better at that point.
Like you watch people come out of the stalls and leave right away, and you're like, dude, that's disgusting. Beyond disgusting. It's animalistic behavior. You should be punished.
Senior citizens wash their hands after they're using the bathroom way more than younger people, according to all that. That's not surprising.
No.
Women wash their hands somewhat longer, use more soap, and to a higher percentage wash their hands long enough to actually kill the germs. They do that thing in school back when you were in the day where they put the stuff on your hands and you had to wash it so well till the glowing stuff came off to show you how long it actually takes to remove the bacteria or whatever it was.
I mean, if the argument is that women are cleaner than men, I'll buy it.
I mean, Grind's right. He says most guys skip; they don't get the urine on their hands. That is why that happens. I mean, I've heard guys leave the bathroom and go, "Oh, I didn't spill any on myself." Like, whatever.
I mean, that's like the guy that. Never mind.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
It's not worth it. Not worth it.
I'm not OCD about hand washing, but I don't think, hey, I touched a doorknob, so I'm going to go wash my hands.
No, I don't think that way, but I'm pretty OCD about keeping my hands clean.
We can do a field trip to Amory. We can have the Pizza Hut buffet. We can have some nostalgia. We can go back to 1987. They might even have like an arcade machine or a pinball machine in there somewhere.
Those are the good days.
Because they do the buffet on Tuesday nights too. That was like family night. So you got the lunch buffet during the year, but I want to say the buffet came at. Did we say cauliflower weird?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Beats me.
There was a time when I would be bothered by people criticizing the way I said words, and I'm past it. I'm over it. It's okay. I've hit that realization of the day that I die, the list of people that are going to care is so short that I'm not really concerned about.
There'll be hundreds at your funeral, Neal.
No,
there will be hundreds.
There will not be a funeral.
You can't stop it.
I think I have.
Do you really?
I do. I think I'm pretty sure that I have gotten that message across to the point that there will not.
Because it took me a while to realize you were serious. I thought you were just doing a bit or like
no,
a
I'm totally serious
for a little while. Like
totally
when I
serious.
first met you.
And there's other people that are that way. I've run into other people that are that way.
Cremation?
I don't care.
Oh, do you not really?
I mean, whatever. Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Just no service.
It's getting much more popular. Cremation in general,
sure.
More popular.
Sure.
Cheaper, the whole thing. I don't mean in a bad way. Just true. It's economics would play a role sometimes. I don't know what the hell we were talking about.
I don't know either.
It's fine.
It's not that I'm tired of the how many bids discussion. It's just that we don't know the answer. We're going to find out. They're going to do it on that Sunday.
They are.
They're going to put a bracket out, and there's going to be a message sent in the bracket. We'll see.
People in the stream telling us to also flush with the toilet lid down because that way the germs don't shoot up and out and scatter. It's true.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of small tips and tricks here. I mean, it's an all-purpose podcast for you guys.
We're going to have the potty podcast.
Got big lines on most of the games tonight. 4 SEC basketball games. The smallest line is Florida. Florida at Georgia is the smallest of the 4 lines tonight.
Yeah.
It's in Athens. Florida favored by 7.5 tonight. That is 6 o'clock SEC network for this one. I just don't pick Georgia to cover or win games at this point. I just don't. They have been awful in the second half the last 3 or 4 weeks.
In the league. Shut up, Neal.
Yes. I like Florida tonight to win the basketball game.
And I think they're getting Condon back soon.
Okay. Not tonight.
I don't know. Maybe tonight. I don't know. If I'm them, I'm being careful. Yet at the same time, I want to get him back into the rotation a little bit so that we can start playing together. I mean, I've watched the Thunder starting to reincorporate Chet Holmgren back into the lineup, and it's not seamless.
Yeah.
It's not just, hey, let's take a good player, put him back in the lineup and see what happens. It takes a little while because Florida's now played without him for a few games. And so now you're putting him back in.
Different continuity, different deal, yeah.
And you've got the kid who broke his leg in the SEC championship game last year. He's back now, so
they haven't played together yet.
You need to let guys play some games together. And Florida doesn't really have much to lose. There's not a big difference between being a 1 and a 2 in the tournament.
Florida 11-3, so they're at Georgia tonight. Tennessee is at LSU. They are a 10.5-point favorite in Baton Rouge. The PMAC tonight, that is 8 o'clock on SEC Network for the Vols and the Tigers. With Tennessee playing 10.5 as a large line, I kind of think LSU is going to show some juice. I kind of like them to backdoor stay under 10.5 tonight for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a don't touch because you just don't. Tennessee's a don't touch in general.
It's one of the things like I watch in the streams and stuff, all the people that talk about all the betting that they do. I would be a nervous wreck if I was betting as much as some of the people claim to be betting.
Uh-huh. You have to budget it, and then you just.
And it also makes me realize what I already know, which is that most of the people who are listening to us watch more sports than I do.
Corey reporting Mortal Kombat, by the way, is the arcade game in Amory. I mean, we do. We have to get to Amory. This is.
I don't think I've ever played Mortal Kombat.
Not even like on the old Nintendo systems and stuff.
I don't think so.
Liu Kang and Sub-Zero, Scorpion.
Mm.
No, nothing.
Mm-mm.
Johnny Chan.
No,
nothing.
None of this rings a bell.
Okay. Goro, Shang Tsung.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. It's a really popular video game when I was young. Yeah. Uh-huh.
No clue.
Well, it would have been gone by the time your kids came around, even if they were interested in that type of game.
Well, the girls didn't ever do video games.
They had a movie. It was a movie, Mortal Kombat the movie.
I didn't see it.
Missed that film.
Missed that.
Not a movie, sorry, film. Yeah, finishing. She on the screen. They all had like their finishing moves where they basically kill their opponent in the one-on-one fight.
I missed that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll send you a video later. Let you check out the intricacies of Mortal Kombat.
Sega, not Nintendo.
No, I've played it. It had a Nintendo version because I think I've played it on Nintendo or Super Nintendo. They had to have had a Super Nintendo version. Could be wrong because I never had a Sega and I played the hell out of Mortal Kombat.
I never had a Sega or a Nintendo. We had Atari.
Yeah.
And then there were video games like at the arcade.
So what was the big game on Atari? Is that like Pong?
They had Pong. They had Asteroids, Space Invaders, and then they started getting like the football, the
Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl.
The first Tecmo Bowl was on Atari.
Yeah, Bo Jackson was unstoppable.
Oh yeah.
You literally couldn't.
You just run around in circles.
It was fun. And then we'd fight and someone would throw the controller, and that'd be the end of that. We'd get yelled at.
Steven said there were Mortal Kombat films. There were more than one.
Oh,
so.
Okay.
Yeah, Super Nintendo. That's what I thought.
We did not have the Commodore 64. A neighbor had Intellivision.
Ooh.
You would cozy up to the neighbor so you could play the Intellivision.
I've never played an Intellivision.
It was pretty good. Intellivision baseball, I remember being very good.
Okay.
We had a tournament, kept stats, everything.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
Those were the days back in Ruston. Mostly we went outside and played ball.
Okay. But you had a video game system.
There was a video game system, but in the summers, we played ball.
Come in when the porch light went on, kind of thing.
My mom had a bell that she would ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And if she rang
ring the bell?
If she rang the bell, that meant get your ass home.
You didn't have like 10 minutes.
I mean,
you're pushing it.
It didn't take 10 minutes to get from where we got to
you needed to move once you heard the bell. It wasn't a suggestion to, hey, soon, why don't you start wrapping up?
The bell either meant that it was time to eat, or if the bell rang at the wrong time, you knew that you had not done something at home you were supposed to do.
Warning sign.
It was a get your ass home. Your room's a disaster. I told you to do something, you didn't do it.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are coming all in the vault now. Excite Bike for the OG Nintendo. Yeah, had Excite Bike for the old Nintendo.
Yeah, we did. Turkey says we did a thing called go outside and play. That's what we did. We went out, and by the end of the summer, just about every neighborhood every house in my neighborhood, their front yard looked like a baseball diamond.
Mm-hmm.
You could see the path. I mean, we would tape up a plastic wiffle ball and make it just hard enough that it would play like a baseball without breaking windows.
My kids outside a pretty good bit. I'm fairly pleased with the amount of time that they're outside doing whatever it is they're doing. Mostly stay within the perimeter that's assigned or established. Had some moments, but for the most part. All right, 2 more basketball games. Get to those in a second. First, let me tell you about the Declaration of Independence Center for the Study of American Freedom. It's located on the Ole Miss campus, and they aim to explore and examine the fundamental and founding principles of the United States of America. The center offers an academic minor in freedom studies and scholarship opportunities for Ole Miss students who bring along lots of networking potential. To learn more, contact Steven Skoltedi or Rankin Sherling. You can do that at freedom@olemiss.edu or visit independence.olemiss.edu.
Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing excuse me, the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your first appointment today and take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy and put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. MyPerfectFranchise.net, Andy at MyPerfectFranchise.net, or 404-973-9901. Located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana, Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it. Got a number of alternatives out there for you as spring gets closer. You got Dr. Juice, which is a very drinkable go-to IPA, just 6% ABV. You've got Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA that's absolutely fantastic. Got Envy, which is an American pale ale, Canebrake, and much more. Wherever you look for beer, at your restaurant, bar, grocery store, look for Parish Brewing Company. You will not be disappointed.
At the Citizens Bank, you're not just an account number, but a valued member of the community. And now if you find yourself in the market for a mortgage, another reason to give them a try at Whit Wilson, in the mortgage space. Now at the Citizens Bank, we're ready to help you with your real estate goals. That's 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E. Discuss your options with Whit or any of their experienced bankers. While you're in there, ask about School Spirit debit cards. They donate an amount per every transaction to the local school of your choice, whether it's Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. That's the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com. So one last thing here on the crust. I had pulled up a little Google search. It does a little AI thing at the top. So just reading from that a little bit.
Right.
There are some really good ones. So like apparently this thing called K-Bosh Foods. I don't know.
I've seen that.
All right. Their cauliflower pizza crust only has 2 grams of carbs. That's good if you're low carb. But it says be really, really careful. Some individual cauliflower pizza crust have as many as 110 grams of carbs.
Oh.
Which can be more than your normal.
That's
and they said they do that because a lot of them use rice flour or potato starch as a binding agent.
Oh.
So they have other ingredients that are very carb heavy that go into the crust. Said that typically they are marketed for gluten free, not carb free.
Okay.
So that is part of the deal there. So yeah.
I think bottom line is that you could make your own using regular dough and just be smarter with toppings, and you would ultimately an oil.
There's truth to that. Yeah.
Because sometimes you order a pizza and there's oil all over it.
Well, I mean, I kind of do that a little bit too because I track pretty much everything I eat right now, and those toppings, because a lot of times I'll go. Marco's does those bowls, so you get no crust. It's just toppings, and I can get that, and I kind of know what I'm putting in it. And if you get like a deluxe or a whatever the veggie style is, and then throw some kind of thing, you throw grilled chicken in there, that's a totally different situation when it starts putting the calories in than those old world pepperonis that have the oil sitting in the pepperonis.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's a whole different ball of wax there when you're looking at it.
I mean, if you use turkey pepperoni, it doesn't get all the oil like that. So that is a healthier topping. And you can control the amount of cheese.
Yeah, light sauce, light cheese, blah, 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 blah.
And you can do vegetables, because sometimes I think some of the vegetables have been like, I don't know.
Dehydrated almost.
Yeah. Like there's something weird about them. As opposed to you can do your own.
What veggies do you want on there?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I just put like jalapenos and banana peppers and stuff.
I like mushrooms on my pizza.
Yeah. I
know you don't like mushrooms, period.
At all.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll put bell peppers and stuff.
Okay.
Laura and Carson put onion on their.
If it's there, I'm not mad about it, but I would never choose to put it there.
My only thing about the onion on pizza is it's the only thing I can taste.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I like more sauce than they do, so whatever. It doesn't matter. I like pizza. My problem with pizza is not pizza. It's that if we order too much or make too much, I will go from I never eat breakfast to I'm eating pizza for breakfast.
That has to be my one rule is if there's pizza, it's one meal, and I would be tempted to just pour salt all over it afterwards to keep me from eating it. I will eat it. I might even overeat for one meal, but that's it. I'm not touching it the next day.
I get it.
One time.
I get it. No, I'm
throw it away. Don't buy too much. Pour salt on it. I don't care. Make it inedible for me moving forward.
It is the thing. If it's in the house, I don't really have willpower over it, as opposed to like.
I'm glad I don't love it. I like it. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing pizza, but it's not one of the three. Like in the thread, give me a great cheeseburger over pizza all day long. I love a great cheeseburger.
I like cheeseburgers too. And the thing about cheeseburgers is you don't typically make so many cheeseburgers that there's like that's a weird thing. Like you can have a cheeseburger and you're like, okay, well that's my meal.
Yeah. How many did you grill? I grilled 12. No, you didn't.
No, you just made enough for that night.
Yeah.
Or whatever. As opposed to pizza, it's like, okay, like we do pizza on the Big Green Egg back in the day. And you'd look up and you're like, why did we make 7 pizzas? There's 4 of us.
Because we have it all weekend now.
But now we're having pizza for 5 days and we all gain 10 pounds each.
Yeah.
Which defeats the whole purpose of it all.
Come to find out, if you just control your portions, walk a little bit, it's the reason why Europeans eat a lot of pizza and yet don't gain weight.
They walk everywhere.
Yeah. Mississippi State tonight on the road at Coleman Coliseum. They're an 8.5-point underdog to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Over under 169.5, which is a big number considering Alabama continues to score at will all the time. I've been kind of riding Alabama lately, so I like Alabama in this game a good bit.
It's at Coleman.
It's at Coleman.
I like Bama.
Then South Carolina is at the other Columbia tonight. Missouri hosting the Gamecocks. Missouri favored by 13.5 at home against South Carolina.
I don't hate it.
The 13?
Not really. They're good. I watched their whole game on Saturday. I watched basically 3.5 college games on Saturday, which is more than I've watched pretty much all year. Missouri's good. I mean, I watched them in a loss, and I came away thinking that's a really good team. You all right?
Yeah, something blew in my eye.
Probably the ghost upstairs.
At least it wasn't the old lady.
We're not sure what kind of ghost it is. It might be the old lady.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, something seriously blew in my left eye. Okay, basketball games tonight.
You can sue us. That's homeowners.
Would be the most frivolous one that got offered up today.
I've seen worse.
So, Ole Miss, what time tomorrow night? What channel?
6 o'clock, ESPN 2, I think.
Okay, Neville Arena, Ole Miss, Auburn, all that good stuff. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. We're not going to pull out the schedules today, but I do like when these opening lines come out from FanDuel. So if you'd like to bet, you can head on over to FanDuel and take advantage of that right now, I guess, on these games. We don't have O'Neal Steele handing us the schedules yet, so it makes it a little more complicated. Jonathan, by the way, let's get those to me whenever they do come in. What?
I'm trying to think if I would even be able to name all 16 SEC quarterbacks.
Well, you couldn't because not all 16 SEC teams know their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
By the way, Texas got so close to just being honest this week. Did you see this?
No.
They, canceled their spring game.
Yes.
So Crystal Conte came out, was talking to somebody. I don't know. I was talking to maybe it was Chip Brown. It was one of the media members we know of Texas. And he was so just, yeah, right. It's a different era. Doesn't matter. All that stuff. No, some people are pissed off, but on the whole, it's the way we need to work. And then at the end, he got so close. And at the end, he goes, well, it's just really about player safety. And it's like, Chris.
Oh, shut up.
Chris.
No, it's not.
It has nothing to do with player safety. You were so close. And then you did what you do.
The people that are in intercollegiate athletics, they're for whatever reason, there's a segment of them, and it's the majority of the segment. So it's the most of them. They just can't quite let go of that.
It was just so
propaganda.
It was just right there. And then,
this is.
Well, we played 30 games over the last 2 years, and it's like.
Shut up. So bad. Just go, hey, it's pro sports now. We really don't need to put our players on a stage where everybody else can see them and make an offer during the second portal window.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Don't need to do it, so we're not going to do it. Don't have to do it, so we won't do it.
Okay, so we will spend months discussing over-unders and schedules and whatnot. Is how we get through the summer. So it is what it is. But here, what I like about these early numbers,
okay,
is I do think it gives you an idea of what public perception of programs is.
Okay.
Because nobody's going into the minutia if you're betting on something on February the 25th, for God's sake. It's just in general casual bettors who go, oh, well, I think that team is better than that, or I think that team is not better than that. So a lot of these
Okay.
numbers are indicative of public perception on
Okay.
programs, my opinion.
Okay.
I think. And you see some changes here. And then you see a lot of teams just kind of stuck in the middle. So here we'll go through them real quick. I don't know if these are from less to most. They're really not. So, okay. Alabama, 8.5. Stars fallen, still a good program. But if you're betting under, you're betting 8-4 for Kalen DeBoer, which I wouldn't want to be in his office this year at 8-4. Weird spot for him there at that number.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, 5.5. So either they get to a bowl or they don't.
Mm-hmm.
That is where you're sitting there. Again, that requires 4 non-con wins and 2 league wins if you're the Hogs. Auburn, 7.5. It's a bad sign for Hugh Freeze.
I'll never bet.
8's not going to get it. What?
Nothing.
Because you think he's out with anything less than a playoff.
Yes.
And I think they have no shot in hell of making
I think
the playoff,
I think he's a terrible fit there. I think everybody knows it. It's going to be a disaster, and they'll fire him.
And they would
He's
fire him.
too thin-skinned there. It won't work. But he made a lot of money, and so good for him. I mean, he'll be fine. I assume that he's been smart with his money, and he'll get another opportunity elsewhere, probably back at a Liberty-level school. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's going to make a ton of money.
What am I missing here? Because I kind of like them, and it's not just the Ole Miss game or anything like that. Hold on. Go away. Florida, 6.5. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what their schedule is. I know nothing about their team.
Yeah, it might just be brutal, but
I mean, the same schedule as this last year. Just
true.
flip it.
Yeah. Thought that was odd. Georgia, 9.5. So you can win at 10-2 for the Bulldogs. But they're not what they once were.
No.
That's fair.
Well, and I don't know that some of this is in today's football. It's harder to be a 10-11 win team. You don't have the depth. You can't build the super roster anymore, really.
LSU, 8.5. About right.
I guess. I mean, they've got a really good quarterback. I mean, I think he's really good.
I see his dad was hired with the Saints.
Yeah.
In the last few days.
Yeah.
State, 3.5.
Just shows you what people think of them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they weren't good last year, and I don't know how you could predict that they would be better this year. They lost their quarterback, right? He went to LSU.
They did. Yeah. They got Blake Shapen back. He's their quarterback, I think.
Yeah.
Missouri, having to replace Brady Cook and Luther Burton, 7.5 for the Tigers.
But general respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, 8.5. That's respect. Losing that many guys, falling off. You're only one number off last year when it was 9.5, I think.
Yeah. I don't even want to say what I was thinking. It's not worth it.
You do have a minus 190 on there, though, from that. That's a big number on betting the over. Almost 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me I had to take something right now on 8.5, I'd go under. They lost a lot off that team.
They did. South Carolina, 7.5.
That almost feels low.
It does. Yeah.
I mean, they bring back a lot.
Tennessee, 9.5. They got a lot back.
Yeah, I mean,
made the playoff.
So they have the same over-under as Georgia.
They do.
Okay.
Yep. Now, Georgia is punishing you to bet the over at minus 180. Tennessee is plus 115, so there's some differences in amounts, but yes. Oklahoma, 6.5.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Texas, 9.5, tying Tennessee and Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Almost surprised it's not higher. There's a lot of hype around the Horns.
Yeah. A&M 7.5.
Kind of where they are as a program.
They haven't proven anything different on that. And then Vanderbilt 4.5.
Oh, I might go over. 4.5?
Mm-hmm.
So all you got to do is get to 5?
You do.
I don't hate that at all.
That'll be the one schedule I pull up. We'll do the rest later, but let's pull up Vanderbilt real quick.
Okay.
2025 Vanderbilt football schedule. Charleston Southern.
1.
At Virginia Tech. Big game for them.
I don't know anything about Virginia Tech, so I'll just go toss.
At South Carolina.
Probably a loss.
Georgia State.
Probably a win.
Utah State.
I would assume a win.
Alabama.
There, right?
Yep.
Well, they'll be up for the doors this time.
LSU at home.
Probably a loss.
Missouri at home.
Probably tossy.
At Texas.
Probably a loss.
Auburn at home. Move.
I mean,
circle that one.
He's beaten Freeze twice in a row.
Yes. Kentucky at home.
Probably a win.
You got to get that one.
Probably a win.
And then at Tennessee.
Probably a loss.
Okay.
Still, I think I can get to 5.
Kentucky and Auburn are your...
And Virginia Tech.
Yeah. Can you get 2 of those?
Because if they beat Virginia Tech, they get 4 wins.
Mm-hmm.
And if they... Now it's got to...
You got to win 2 games between those 3 teams.
Yeah.
To get to the over without pulling some kind of upset.
If I beat Virginia Tech and they beat Kentucky, I made it.
That's correct.
So I like the over there.
You good? All right.
Yeah. The other crazy low one was Mississippi State.
Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah, and I just don't know their schedule, whether I could get them to 4 or not.
Hold on. We can do that one too. Let's see. State schedule. At Southern Miss to open the season.
It's probably 1.
Arizona State at home.
It's probably an L.
Alcorn State at home.
That's 2.
Northern Illinois at home.
It's probably 3.
So
I need one more now.
Tennessee at home.
No.
At A&M.
No.
At Florida.
No.
Texas at home.
No.
At Arkansas.
Maybe. Probably not.
Georgia.
No.
At Missouri.
No.
And Ole Miss.
No. Mm-hmm. And look, Arkansas went to Starkville last year and beat them by 70 points.
They did.
So they're probably losing at
which is
in
under
Fayetteville too. So I don't make it.
I mean, it's a lot.
And then if you told me they lose to Northern Illinois, I'm not shocked. They did beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I don't know what Northern Illinois brings back or doesn't bring back. I have no clue. If you put a gun to my head and said, name a person at Northern Illinois, I would be dead.
Yeah.
I can describe the coach to you. He's kind of the big, heavy-set black guy. That is the extent of it.
That's all I got.
Can you name a player? I cannot. John Smith, Peter Smith. I don't know.
Northern Illinois starting quarterback. I don't know, because the first guy that came up apparently entered the transfer portal. So, no
Shocker.
idea. Oh, he's at Illinois now.
Oh.
So he left Northern Illinois to be the starter there, to be the backup to Altmaier at Illinois.
He got paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bert got some insurance. And
what's the name of the coach at Northern Illinois? It's bothering me now. He got emotional after the Notre Dame game, and
did he?
You could tell it was genuine, and you wanted to run through a wall for him.
Thomas Hammock. He's
there
a big black guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a hell of a dude.
He's been there 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah. Seems like a great guy. Just couldn't think of his name.
He had a hell of a little media thing after the game.
Yeah.
He was all pumped up.
Thomas, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Go Huskies. Huskies, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I might even go under on State. I mean,
so Northern Illinois is the Huskies and Southern Illinois is the Salukis.
Correct.
They like the dogs.
It's fine. I'm in favor.
Yeah. Okay.
What's Kentucky's over under? Did we do it?
Hold on. If we didn't, it was Grind's fault. He didn't send it to me.
Okay.
No, I don't have Kentucky's number.
Okay.
So, Grind, what's Kentucky's number?
Andre says he's from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
There you go.
So it's a big deal for him.
Sure. Went to Notre Dame and won as the head coach at Northern Illinois. Hell yeah, it was a big
day.
deal. Yeah, it was a big day. That's a day you remember. And then to Notre Dame's credit, they didn't lose again until the end.
Kentucky 4.5.
All right, pull up Kentucky's schedule because I'm actually interested in this. Because this is, if they're under, this is a disaster.
Kentucky's schedule. They open with a home date against Jason Candle and the Toledo Rockets. Probably getting it, but by God, you better get it.
It's not free.
No. Ole Miss at home.
I mean, if it's not an L,
we have our own issues around here.
It's going to change the narrative here. I mean, for sure.
But probably they're 1-1. Okay. Eastern Michigan at home, 2-1.
Sure.
At South Carolina.
It's probably a loss.
At Georgia.
A loss.
Texas.
Probably a loss.
Tennessee.
Probably a loss.
At Auburn.
I mean, if it's a win, but probably a loss.
Florida at home.
I think it's a loss. I think the Gators are going to be pretty good.
Tennessee Tech.
That's a dub. At
Vandy. And at Louisville.
I know nothing about Louisville.
They're ranked 20th in the preseason. That's all I got.
Yeah. I just don't.
That's it.
I know nothing about.
So to get to 5, Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Tennessee Tech,
Vanderbilt, Louisville,
and Auburn. 2 of the 3.
So you got to go to Jordan Hare to win?
You need 2 of the 3.
Probably not happening.
Unless they're upsetting one of those other teams.
Andre says, if I'm LSU, I go get John Summerall. LSU's problem is that to get rid of Brian Kelly is a really expensive proposition.
Tens and tens of millions of dollars.
Just incredibly, incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
So. Kentucky would love to go get John Summerall tomorrow. The problem is the money. Yeah. Again,
they're paying Mark Stoops $9 million a year, and he has a buyout.
In this era of college sports, paying off a coaching staff $40-something million to go away, it might not be possible.
It doesn't help your program because you have to pay other stuff.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, I think if truth be told, if Kentucky had its way right now, John Summerall would be the coach at Kentucky today.
Yeah, I agree with that. Take a final break. Tell you about the men's clinic. They're in Madison and Brandon. That's themanthing.com. Their mission's simple. They want their patients to remain as healthy and as strong as possible throughout the aging process. They do this by optimizing testosterone, improving sleep, reducing inflammation, treat insulin resistance, facilitating a healthy gut microbiome, and much more. In Madison, 601-607-7869. Again, that is themanthing.com.
We are also brought to you by, I lost my spot. We're brought to you by Easy Hemp Co. Easy is a hemp-infused sparkling water. It's a guilt-free alcohol alternative, a natural way to relax and unwind. It's all natural, made with real fruit, no added sugar, low calorie, gluten-free. One 12-ounce can of Easy has 3 milligrams of THC. With Easy, it's easy to avoid the gummy scare and control your experience. So change the can, not the ritual. It's easy. Visit easyhempco.com to view the Easy Finder to find Easy near you. Easy is a Farm Bill compliant with hemp derived from THC CBD extracts. Easy is for people 21 and older. Enjoy responsibly. Brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email Art at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
So I was planning to do a good bit of combine stuff today, but it doesn't start until Thursday. So we'll get into it tomorrow. We'll need it then. We'll go through it. We'll talk some basketball and some combine stuff.
You don't think we're talking about the big upset over Auburn?
Well, it hasn't happened yet. Tomorrow's Wednesday. They don't play till tomorrow night.
You said you were going to predict an upset. tomorrow, so I figured that was the one.
Do what?
I'm kidding.
Did I say that?
No,
Oh.
I'm messing around.
I mean, I could have. I mean, who knows? I don't remember what I said 5 minutes after I said it. We'll hit that. Jackson Dart did say yesterday he's going to throw at the combine.
Yeah.
That is not normal. It appears Shadir Sanders not throwing. I haven't seen what Cam Ward's doing or not doing at this point.
I think Ward's throwing.
Is he throwing? I've got a 3-round mock draft. We'll go over tomorrow too.
This is where I'm
has a lot of
weird
Ole Miss
here.
guys in it.
If I'm at the combine and a quarterback won't throw,
I got a problem.
I at least have to have questions. Are you okay? Are you scared to throw? Are you hurt? What's the
because
deal?
either one's a problem.
Unless it's like, well, I rolled an ankle.
Yeah,
I'm going to be okay, but I can't push off of it right now.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
So I got. But at a minimum, I'm going. Why?
You just don't want to screw up your spot. Well, then that shows confidence.
So we're inside. There's no wind. You either can throw or you can't. And if you don't believe in your throwing ability, I'm not drafting you to be my quarterback. In the NFL? Oh, Cam, they say Rebel Grizz says Cam's not throwing. I got questions.
They get those spots at the top and just shut it down.
I wouldn't.
There's nothing about him at 1 overall that I like.
No.
I hate it in every way.
Tyler and I disagree on this just so big time.
He likes it?
He likes Ward. He doesn't like Shadur, but he likes Ward. I like Ward fine, but not with the top 4 pick.
No.
I'd much rather take Abdul Carter and then go get Jackson Dart in the 2nd round. Much rather. He's not even close.
Andre, thanks for another super chat. Says, I understand getting rid of Kelly is an expensive proposition, but if you have to strike when the iron's hot for LSU and he's under 50, I guess.
I get it, but under 50, I don't think Brian Kelly's buyout's under 50. I mean, it's real money.
Dart has had a really pristine offseason going into this.
I told you would. I'm going to get this one right. I get 8 gazillion things wrong. I'm going to end up nailing it on Jackson Dart.
Mel Kiper, I think, had a mention with him today that if the Rams deal Stafford, Dart becomes very real for them at 26 if he's still there.
Oh, it'd be awesome for Jackson. Holy shit.
Give him McVay at 26 or whatever it is. Because there's a lot of talk about Stafford being dealt to a contender.
Yeah.
He's been in a little bit of a disagreement with Rams management.
So I would assume
they
would add a veteran to come in and
start immediately. I don't know.
And be the babysitter.
I don't remember who their backup is off the top of my head. One of the mock drafts that I saw had the Jets trading around to take him at 31. There was some trades involved, but had the Jets trying to grab him at 31.
I could see that.
At that point.
I won't be shocked if he ends up in the 1st round because, A, he's a quarterback, and people get terrified about we have to have a quarterback, and so they take him. And I think he's really good. And the whole, he comes out of an offense where the decisions are made for you. I get that being a concern with Corral, 100%. I totally understand it.
Mm-hmm.
That would not concern me with Jackson.
Yeah. Ole Miss baseball getting a pretty good opportunity tonight. Southern Miss, 4:00 in Oxford. Again, the Ole Miss broke into the D1 baseball top 25 at number 24 yesterday. Southern Miss at number 22. They are 7-1 on the season. They have a sweep of Lafayette, the college, not Louisiana Lafayette, but the one in the Northeast.
Yes.
They beat State 3-0 in Hattiesburg in a midweek game last week, I believe, something like that. They only had like 4 hits, but they pitched it really well. And then they took 2 out of 3 against Louisiana Tech at home over the weekend against Lane and the Bulldogs. They're good. They're starting a kid tonight from Ocean Springs who fractured his elbow during his true freshman season last year, but he's back healthy. And he is he's only had 1 appearance on the year, but he's pitching. And then Ole Miss going to Will McCausland, the St. Joseph's transfer, tonight. He threw 3.2 innings and only allowed 1 run against Clemson. In his lone outing of the season, he struck out 8 during those 3.2 innings against then number 15, the Tigers.
The SEC baseball schedule on the site is so bad.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. I use D1 because I can't use the SEC, the league. I can't do it.
So it looks like Evansville is at Kentucky.
Okay.
Grambling is at Arkansas. North Alabama is at Tennessee. Troy. Is Troy ranked?
Yeah, they're good.
Oh, Troy is at Mississippi State today. Southern Miss at Ole Miss. Jacksonville State at Alabama. Texas Southern at Oklahoma. Lindenwood, baby, at Missouri.
Just right down the road from St. Charles down to Columbia.
Tennessee Tech. Got some big SEC wins in their pocket before. They go to Vanderbilt. The Gators had 2 Stetson. Gardner-Webb goes to South Carolina. The way this sets up, it's like it just keeps reading forever. I don't know.
Samford is at Auburn and Texas State is at Texas A&M.
Okay.
That is the final 2 games.
And see, on the SEC side, it goes right into UIW at Texas.
That's true. That's tonight, too. Incarnate Word at Texas.
Morehead State at Kentucky.
No, Evansville at Kentucky.
Okay.
Northern Alabama at Tennessee.
Okay. Schedule's so bad.
Yeah, that site sucks. For all the money, they're web developing people. Awful.
Because Wright State comes to Ole Miss on Friday, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So these must be weekend series. The weekend series, it appears, are UNF at Florida, LSU at Dallas Baptist.
LSU's in a tournament in Frisco.
Mississippi State's at Rice, or is that in Frisco also?
That's in Houston. That's a tournament in Houston. Okay. Rice and Mississippi State.
Georgia's entertaining Florida Gulf Coast. LSU, Kansas State. Is that in the tournament also?
That is in Frisco. Yes, that is the tournament. Mm-hmm.
So Kansas State's in back-to-back tournaments. I saw where they were in a tournament over the weekend at Globe Life.
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee's at Oklahoma State, or is that a tournament?
That's at Minute Maid. That's Houston. Tournament in Houston.
Okay.
Yep.
Auburn and Ohio State.
That's at Globe Life.
Charlotte's at Arkansas. I presume that's in Fayetteville.
They are, yes.
Wright State's at Ole Miss.
That's correct.
Cal State Northridge is at Oklahoma.
That's correct.
North Dakota State's at Alabama.
That is correct.
Evansville is in Missouri.
That is correct.
Miami is at Florida.
That is correct.
South Carolina is at Clemson.
They do a 3 different location 3-game series. They play 1 game in Columbia, 1 game in Clemson, and 1 game in Greenville over the course of the 3 days.
Okay. Texas A&M and Arizona is a tournament, I'm guessing.
That is in Houston at Minute Maid Park.
Vanderbilt and UCLA is a tournament, I'm guessing.
That is at Jackie Robinson Stadium in Los Angeles, California. So, no, that is UCLA hosting Vandy 3 times.
Texas at Washington? That's tournament.
That is a tournament in Vegas.
Vegas getting involved. Where do they play?
It says Las Vegas Ballpark.
Oh, out where the AAA team plays.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right.
So that's
how about that? There's your...
And actually, it's no longer Minute Maid in Houston. It's Daikon Park, I believe, because Ole Miss is headed there next year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Daikon Park.
But it's the park formerly known as Minute Maid.
It's Minute Maid for all. Well, it was Enron Field back in the day, but we got away from that. Went to Minute Maid. So, all right. We will, we'll talk more combine tomorrow. There's actually a good bit there. The three-round mock draft was interesting. Seeing what guys like Princely, Amos, Nolan, a lot of movement up and down. I've seen him as high as top 10, 11.
Yeah.
And all the way down to kind of mid to bottom of the first round as well. So we'll look at some of his
where the
movement.
Bengals like him a lot.
Really?
Like 17 or 18.
If he was still there, the Eagles like him a lot at 31.
I can't imagine he falls that far.
No, I think he's probably gone there, but I've seen that multiple times. So we'll hit some combine stuff. We'll talk more about Auburn and Ole Miss tomorrow night. Set that table. Look at whatever happens around the league tonight and more. So rebelgrove.com, baseball, 4 o'clock, Swayze against Southern Miss, and we will talk to you tomorrow morning.